and we help you at least see the clear picture. So you actually know what your business numbers are versus what you're seeing coming in and out of your bank account.
I find that in working with business owners, most of them aren't afraid of math. Well, some of them are, but most of them aren't. They're really afraid of what they're going to find when they actually look at the books. So, I don't know, but I think it's of like a false fear. They shouldn't be afraid of something like that. What do you think, Celeste?
No, of course not. But at the same time, it's intimidating. If you, especially when you're a small business person or an entrepreneur, and you are being tasked to run the finances as well, you're not really sure if you have everything in place. There's so many different programs out there. And at the end of the day, who do you trust? Because you are going to need somebody with expertise, hopefully somebody who is trained and certified. Don't go with
Good.
Uncle Joe. Go with somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Why? That can't possibly go wrong. Well, anyway, that brings me to a lovely introduction of how should we put this? I introduced you as my Panera Bread coworker the other day, Celeste. So, Patrycja Marocola is my BNI partner in crime, my pinky in the brain, let's do this crazy idea kind of thing, networking friend and everything else, and always good for a good lunch or breakfast or dinner or whatever. But anyway, Patricia launched her business of all times in the middle of COVID. She had the world closing in around her. She had masks on everybody. Clients were panicking, I'm sure, and the rules were changing daily. She took all of that chaos and decided that making something with clarity and systems was the thing to do. Thank God she did that because now we are 6 years later. She just celebrated an anniversary for her business. Let me introduce to you, everybody, Patrycja Marocola. Hi, Patricia.
Hello, welcome to the right room.
Hi, ladies. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, give us a quick snapshot. What does Marocola Elite Solutions do, and who do you help the most?
Yeah, so what my firm helps is small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses that are struggling with kind of keeping their finances in a streamlined process. We kind of step in, help clean up the systems that are there, clean up the numbers and the finance end of it, so that way people could actually see what their business is doing. And then from there, we put a system in place that helps them stay on that track.
Hopefully. That's good. That's great.
Well, that's got to
So,
be a little bit daunting, though, for people who are in the midst of chaos themselves. How do you step in and how do you, I mean, really get over the defense that they may have with you coming in to look at their books?
Absolutely. So I've seen so much. So I have 20 years of experience. So I have literally seen different types of people, different types of businesses through different economic times as well. So I think seeing that and being able to help people and be able to problem solve has really given me that ability to be able to bring it to my clients and especially to my team. So I help my team. So as I train them, I help build those skills so that way they can take that and then give it to the client as well.
Do you have maybe an example, a story? Because I find that helps really paint a picture for people to understand you coming in to a place that maybe feels a little intimidated by you.
Yeah, so we bring that human edge, we bring that human touch, absolutely. I'm a very down to earth person. I sit down and I have a conversation with you. I'm not sitting there with a checklist and making sure that everything that you're telling me fits within that box because that box doesn't exist for anything in life, especially with for business. Yes, there's certain things that you'll end up seeing that happen, but not every problem comes with that same solution.
So key to the name of your business, you have different solutions for different people in different industries, places, even where they are in their own growth, correct?
Absolutely. And that's kind of where we help fit in. And I think, me opening my business has really helped me bring that edge and help people, see things and be able to better explain things to people. Um, I literally started in the copy room in a basement putting files together, finished tax returns together to mail out. This was before e-file even existed. So I had to staple the W-2s, put the envelopes. So I literally started in the basement in the copy machine room, and worked my way up from there to being a business owner at the age of 28. So I think that drive also helps me be able to um, show people that it is possible if you just put your mind to it and you actually put the work into it that we're laying out for you in a plan. This is that first step that you need in order for your business to be able to expand and grow.
So in listening to what you're saying, the biggest system I think you built out is your own, that you went into business yourself. But one thing I've always noticed in listening to you do your different presentations and hearing you, especially at networking things every week, when you have growth in a business without systems, it creates nothing but chaos. People are afraid to look at their numbers because they are afraid, like they're not paying attention to that part of the business the way they could, maybe not should, because they may not have the wherewithal to do it. But what's one of the first systems that you can put into place to have a business that's seemingly chaotic just get a little bit of calm so that they can start to move forward?
Yeah, so that first step that we do is to catch up on their finances and make sure that everything is categorized and reconciled. And that we're actually picking up all the expenses that do belong to the business. We help people separate those numbers so they know what are personal expenses that are running through, what are business expenses. Listen, it happens for all of us. That's the reality of it. And we help you at least see the clear picture so you actually know what your business numbers are versus what you're seeing coming in and out of your bank account. People also tend to forget about personal credit cards and things along those lines, and personal expenses or cash expenses. So we do have those meetings and we do mention those things to our clients to have a full picture of their business in one clear report that we can then review.
Yeah, I know a lot of people just kind of negate that extra stuff. They don't think it's important or that, it's them. So they own the business, it's their stuff. So what's the difference? Um, Use systems in your own business. I know you had mentioned to us earlier that you have somebody building out a new system for you that's specifically for accountants, bookkeepers, those kind of things. Um, you told us a little bit of a story. Can you give us a little bit of information on that? Let our listeners know what he said to you about the way your systems, the ones that you put in place, work for your business.
Absolutely. So, right now we're using a lot of different systems that are working for our group, but now we're at that point that I wanted to expand and help not only the systems inside, but also have clients have a better experience. So, with that, we're moving on to a new program and it's called Tax Dome. So, they are geared towards bookkeepers and accountants specifically. It just kind of gives us all those things that we need within one program without having to pick and choose what we would need from others. And we had our first kickoff meeting actually this last Friday, which was so exciting. And they were just gathering information about me, my firm, what we're doing, what we do for our clients. And I mentioned how many bookkeeping clients we have and the size of the staff that we have. And he was shocked because usually the people that he speaks with have a third of the amount that we have, which is amazing to hear. Like, I didn't even expect it. And I know that it wasn't just a sales pitch because I already paid for it, and this was
Was
just somebody
grandson.
having a kickoff meeting, and his expression was just like, what? Like, he's like, how'd you do it? How are you even doing that? And I
So
told him
so
communication. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just going to say to you, what are some of the non-negotiables that make you able to scale at that level that even people in the industry or people that work with the industry are surprised by? What do you not give up for that?
Yeah, so communication is key for my team. And if somebody's lacking it, or if I could tell that they're just not fitting in, and not to sound cliquish or anything like that, but we have a certain culture within, my business, and I feel like that's kind of what helps build that strength of communication because of the culture that we have within. We recently, this couple, what was it, last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, actually, we had our after tax season party where we go and celebrate, where most offices will just go have a lunch or a dinner the day after tax day. I take my ladies out for a fun time. We did an escape room, we got henna tattoos, we went to a Mediterranean restaurant. We happened to have the whole restaurant to ourselves. So, we
I'm
take
sure it
it
was quiet.
and yeah. Oh, we were laughing it up. We had such an amazing time. But that's kind of that team bonding and that building that also helps our communication. And, my ladies, I go above and beyond for them. And I think that's what helps them go above and beyond for me. So we do birthday gifts, employee appreciation gifts, all those things just because, or if somebody's moving, I'll just send them something. Like, all those little things to show how much I appreciate them helps them then better communicate with me and be more open with me.
But it also means that they're going to communicate better with their customers. I mean, you've,
Absolutely.
you've created a culture that I think a lot of businesses miss. Rewarding their employees, letting them know that they're valued and how that translates to increased business. You're a perfect example of that.
Oh, thank you. No, I
Can
I agree though.
can I
It's
just throw something in there because I've listened to I get to see Patricia almost every Wednesday from January to December, and we're in BNI together, and I have heard her say this one thing that stands out all the time in my head. Whatever the number, let's just say I'll pick a number of 8. Always part of her introduction. I lead a team of 8 amazing women. Every single time she gets up, it's again, if she hires somebody, if she loses somebody, it's I lead a team of 8 amazing people, 9 amazing people, whatever, women, whatever it is. The fact that she's just employing women, I think, speaks volumes to getting the job done and staying focused. That's great, and she takes care of her ladies that work for her and keep that culture going. But to hear a leader, to hear somebody in business actually give credit to the staff consistently, I don't know about you, Celeste. I don't hear that very often.
Yeah, that's what I said. Again, great
Amazing.
example
thank
of
you.
real leadership
Mhm.
that I think most, if not all, companies can learn from. But I do have a question because, again, we are in the right room and we do a segment called Room Service. And I wanted to ask you, because we have small business owners and entrepreneurs that listen to this program looking for a solution and what actionable step they can take, maybe today, tomorrow, next week, next month, to help them. And since you are in that financial sphere and that is your specialty, thinking about going into a company, what is one thing that they can do or think about today to determine, do they need you to come in, or what could they do themselves to get them on the right track and looking at their finances the way they need to and realize that they're not.
Yeah, no, that's a great question for sure. So what I would say is, we book appointments with clients with we leave time for everything else. It's important to leave time in your calendar, either whether it be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, to really just review what was going on with your bank and credit cards for that month. I myself get stuck in getting busy and I don't review my stuff. And then I look back at it, and 5 months have passed and I'm like, oh, what was that for again? So I myself being in the field forget. So I can't even imagine what other people feel like. So just making sure you get on that monthly track is really important. And that's kind of where we step in with our follow-up emails, calls. We get a little annoying sometimes, but it comes with love, because we want to make sure that you're going to stay on that track.
I'm just writing it down. I have to send my stuff over to you. I sorry, I forgot.
The emails
I,
will be coming. Tax
I'm
season's
sure
over now.
I'm sure they will be. Yeah, it's great. But it is great that you can I think I think the biggest thing that I can hear from you all the time is if you don't you're doing the thing. You're doing whatever. Like, if I'm being a consultant or coach, or Celeste's got somebody that she's coaching through a presentation, you don't necessarily have time to do the bookkeeping. It's something that is very easily offloaded, with technology being what it is nowadays when it works. You can go into different things and see different things right away. The communications, I think, is key, and I know that with you girls, your with ladies that work with you, they ask a question, you get the answer. If you need clarification, you hop right on the phone, which again is so important. If someone's looking for, I mean, I know you can work with people all over the country, but if somebody's looking for a bookkeeper, or somebody that can help them, bookkeeper, CPA, whatever, what's one of the first things they should ask?
So you're saying to ask the bookkeeper, like, for their hiring?
And maybe like quality control of the book, like I'm saying, like how do they know they're getting somebody that's going to be, well, maybe not at your level, but you know,
Close to it.
reputable that
I
they can
mean,
trust.
yeah, so I've seen many other people's work, doing this for such a long time. And and it comes down to, I think, experience. You are going to be able to have somebody that's going to be able to push those numbers in, somebody that's inexperienced, but what it comes down to is who's overlooking it. If you're the one that's final overlooking it and you have no idea what it's supposed to look like, then you're not qualified to be that reviewer. So if you don't have somebody that's experienced reviewing it before your eyes go to it, I think that's a quality that's really missing. And experience could come from so many different areas. But, having a conversation with somebody and making sure that they're asking you questions, that's key. If somebody's just like, oh, yeah, don't worry about talking to me, I'll figure it all out, that's not good open communication. So you want to make sure that open communication is there. And most of the clients that we end up getting, they come to us because of the lack of communication from their prior person. Um, so I think experience and communication, those are the two things really look out for.
Cool.
And again, we are the right room. So the question now is, what does it mean to you to be in the right room? When you walk into a room, what is your ideal group look like?
Yeah, so I would say new business owners are really people that I could help. People look at bookkeeping and what I do and the experience and all this stuff, and they think dollar sign, dollar sign. but that doesn't necessarily mean that. I can help set you up with the plan if you're a new business owner and give you checklists and information that will get you to the point that you will be able to hire me. And that's the game plan, is to help you grow. So if you can't hire me full time at that point, there's something that I can help you with. So I really do enjoy educating people and educating businesses about what's going on. So I would say new business owners are like my right room. But anybody that's in business that needs help, that's a mess, I, I'm going to try to figure you out. And if I can't, then I don't know. You're not in the right room.
So I think I hear
Okay.
the message of she's telling you not don't keep waiting to be ready, just get it done. Take, like bite the bullet and just get your paperwork in order, hand it off, and let somebody that can really help you.
And I
Okay?
like that you take the fear out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's wonderful to see somebody come in with passion and enthusiasm, with a sense of empathy for who you're working with, because you do put yourself in their shoes. You understand it's daunting. It can be confusing. If people weren't following a protocol or a process in the beginning, I would imagine it's quite the mess to figure out.
It can be. And then to get into that system, it takes time. And people, I think that's the thing that people also have to remember. All of this takes time, but that's also life. So to expect business to be is crazy because life, it takes time. So in business, things take time and you have to be consistent.
Yeah,
Cool.
very well said.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, Patricia, thank you for being in the right room with us. I would like to remind everybody, if this episode hits home with you or someone that you know, or if you are stuck either personally or in business trying to get clear and getting organized, one of the best places to start and connect with, well, let's see, you know what? I think we could actually say, how can they connect with you? What's the best way to connect with you, Patricia? And learn more about Marocola Elite Solutions.
I love that. So you could reach us directly at 929-224-4859. So that's our direct line. But the best way I would say is shoot me an email. My email address is patrycja @marocolaelite.com. That's MAROCOLAELITE.com.
We'll put all of that in our notes for you, but it's always nice to have somebody let our audience know right off the bat how we can connect with you. So that way,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, Jane Parmel, this has been
Yes,
another
dear.
exciting episode of The Right Room.
It's
Patricia, thank
always
you
an
so much for
adventure.
coming.
I
And
know.
Jane, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us now?
They can find us everywhere. We're like, oh no, I can't say that on the podcast. Anyway, if this conversation gave you clarity, or you decide you want to work with any one of the three of us, or none of us, or all of us, we can all come to you together because we do things like that. We can come in and rescue your business on a sales training level, on a profit level, and on a bookkeeping level, an accounting level. Subscribe to these podcasts so you don't miss what's coming next, because Patricia's coming back because she's got more up her sleeve. And if you're looking, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a dozen more platforms. Find us wherever you listen, subscribe wherever you listen. And if you know a business owner who's been avoiding their numbers, send them this episode and her number. And thank you for coming, Patricia. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you again in the right room.
Thank you.